Hello, my fellow entities of the interwebs. I am Generic Mystic, and welcome to the third part in my ongoing quest to be Ultra Kill with no weapons and the lowest number of arm uses that I can manage. For those that haven't seen the first two parts, those will be linked down below in case you want to get caught up. Now, with that said, let's bring up the graphic of old and change it for the graphic of new. This includes the new fraud layer levels with a lovely shade of green, while also changing the amount of color denoting version on the borders to be a bit less overpowering. Do let me know if this change is better or worse, I'm trying to feel it out. Anyways, time for a little addendum to P-1 Sole Survivor. Previously, I had mentioned that this level took 2 arm uses because of needing to grab the torch and place it down to open the door to the boss arena. But what if you ignore it and... yeah, that's dark. Thank Akita for a gamma slider. After a long trip down of tapping W to not fall off, we get to the maw that leads to the door room, very bright so we cannot miss it. All we have to do is jump out far from the door to avoid the plane that warps you to the spine, and dash back to land somewhere. From here, you just have to kind of vibe it out and grab the checkpoint, getting past the torch door. Obviously, we are still playing on an easier difficulty because the fight is too time costly otherwise, but luckily for us, the Prime Sanctum levels aren't possible in our normal playthrough. So with that, our arm total is reduced down to 14, and for the time being, clear all gluttony-related levels with nothing equipped. Okay, enough dilly-dally. Let's queue up the new update in the fraud layer. Dropping into 8-1 Heartbreak Wonderland, we are introduced to the Providence. This enemy combines the threat level and health of a virtue with the annoying movement of the drones. The one on its own is not too difficult, but the set of 2 is, well, I put a bit more effort into it than I would have liked. In the next arena, we actually have to fight a gutterman ourselves for the first time. Yeah, I know. They really suck, but you can time a dash to dodge the shield bashes that they do to try and knock you away. After that, we have a blue skull pedestal. Clearing the next arena, we can grab the skull, go back, and the pedestal changes to the opposite of whichever skull we have. I tried reloading from checkpoint to maybe cheese this, but there's no way around this. So we take the other skull, exit the level, bringing our total to... Never mind! You thought that this was the end of the level? This is fraud! The second to last layer of the game, of course, there's going to be more level. Granted, we skipped most of it with a slam storage into a dive, but hey, more level is more level. Now, yeah, this isn't fine. My strategy is for wave 1 to get rid of the malicious face, the virtue, and the other malicious face, and then clean up the mannequins. It is important to leave the other enemies alive because they're useful healing while fighting the providences above pits, and they could friendly fire them. Just take your time to get the right opportunity to attack, and you'll eventually win. With that, we could say we clear this level with 3 arm uses, but I want to take another look with a bit of an out-of-bounds perspective. After clearing the first arena of the level, we get dropped into this tight corridor with the gutterman. Most people would defeat this enemy and move past, but what if we could use it to our advantage? Skip past the enemy to grab the checkpoint, then chain slams into jumps to get back into the hallway. What we want to do is defeat the gutterman while it is facing towards a corner like so. It might take a couple of tries, which is why I suggested grabbing the checkpoint. On a successful attempt, the gutterman will clip you out of the room and into the infinite abyss that is out of bounds. Simply dash back to where you dropped into the level from, staying on top. What you are aiming for is this L-shaped hallway. Enter the door from the outdoor side like so, walk through the hallway as if you were completing this level, and complete the first level of fraud with no arm uses. Now it is time for 8-2, Through the Mirror. Now normally I would play through the level and lose my marbles like most of the other ones, but I find myself in a unique position here. There is a secret exit in this level, but it isn't in the game yet. So technically speaking, this level is possible with no arm uses, but it hinges on no weapons or arms being needed in the secret level whenever it is added. So, what are we going to do about this? Another out of bounds, I guess? Yeah, sure, but how do we do it when there's so little available before needing to grab the blue skull? Taking a look at the water at the very start of the level, we can notice that sometimes while trying to slide, we get caught on something. This is very reminiscent of my method for getting out of bounds in 7-1 Garden Forking Paths, where I was getting stuck on the level geometry before clipping out of bounds. Trying a couple more times, we clip out. Instead of trying to land or go to something, just drop until the game warps you back to where you started the level. The shaft will have deloaded, meaning we can get somewhere safe to stand on out of bounds. Now that we are here, you might notice a bunch of terrain floating beyond the veil of a fake skybox. This is the Mirror World version of the city, and we want to get to it. A well-placed slam storage into a dive works well enough. Directly across the city is a lone door with a checkpoint beyond it. We just need to get through it, and boom, we are at the boss. Wait, this means we actually have to fight the Mirror Reaper. Oh no. Okay, so this boss is not fine, and is not because of the rapid swinging attacks or the red hands of doom. No, it is the small homing orbs the boss fires out that leaves clouds of damaging something. They're really hard to avoid and make the option of staying above not easy, to say the least. The best advice I can give is just to stick to the walls and stay above the Reaper's attacks as much as possible, and move around frequently so you're not in a smoking zone. When phase 2 hits, be especially close to the mirrors to get a really good idea of where the boss is, and you'll probably be fine. That means this level, like the one before, is possible with no arm uses, and we don't have to rely on a secret level to do this. With 2 levels down, it is time for 5-3 Ship of Fools. Hold on, this doesn't seem right. Ah, there we go. 8-3 Disintegration Loop. In the first arena, I would focus the Malicious Face and the Providence as they are the biggest threats, and then clean up the rest. Skip the enemies in the hallway and get to this mess of an arena. Beat the enemies, obviously focus the big ones, ignore all the frame drops that you might get, and get to the actual problem arena. So the 4 strays and the Malicious Face is not the problem. No, it's the Gutterman on the ceiling. Oh, no. Did you know that it is extremely hard to ground slam on a Gutterman while it stands on the ceiling while it is shooting at you while another Gutterman on the ground is shooting at you, and if you stay in the center too much, that Gutterman will also go on the ceiling? Did you also know that Guttermen cannot friendly fire each other? I'm only assuming so because I'm hearing bullet plinks and not seeing any of that red stuff come out, so I'm just assuming that this is the case. So basically, this room is near impossible, or actually impossible, I don't know. You want to know why? Because there is actually a secret that you can do. If you move fast enough to the center, you can catch the floor being raised up and skip the arena entirely. Thank goodness. Oh my gosh, I didn't want to play that. Oh, yeah, okay, enough of that. It's time for the powers! They are Gabrielle, but easier. Yep, that's it. You can clear through the next 2 arenas just fine. Maybe send a Cerberus into terminal velocity if you're feeling it. I don't know. Now for the split path. So we can either pick the Red Skull path, which has arguably the worst arena fight in the entire game to experience with your sense of sight, or the Blue Skull path with an impossible final arena because we cannot hit the enemy stuck on the Violence Layer side of the divide. Oh Lord help me. Okay, so the Red Skull path it is. The first arena isn't that bad. The second one is that bad. When the Stalkers and Guttermen spawn, you have to defeat the first Stalker before it gets close to any of the enemies above, and then use a slam to launch the other into the air. You need to do this because healing is so important when fighting Guttermen because, oh my gosh, I suck at fighting them with slams. Do all that and you can get an easy climb up, and yeah, okay, this arena is horrible. My frames are bad, I don't know what's going on, I keep stomping the same puppeted virtue repeatedly, and I think I left the oven on because I'm smelling something burning. Hold on, give me a second. I'm back. Turns out the pizza was just burning a little bit. Oh, the arena's done, and we get the red skull. That's good. Now let's place it down and get to the exit, clearing the level with... Come on, 2 fake-outs and 1 lair. Really? Oh yeah, space. Hello, what? Thankfully, we can just skip all the way to the last arena of the level. The first step is to take out the malicious faces and really try not to complete the tree in the center. From there, get to the roof of the arena, walk to the edge, and try to get some stomps in on the guttermen that are slightly hanging over the edge. Once both are defeated, go down, assuming the game doesn't bug out and make your slams shoot you upwards, and jump a bunch in the main area of the arena. You want to get the puppet schisms to get rid of the gutter tanks for you to go on to the final wave of the level, which includes 2 swords machines and a power. From there, defeat all the enemies and complete the tree to clear the level with 2 arm uses. Okay, yeah, the out-of-bounds glitches. I know this is the level you're most prone to do it on. I know it's gonna happen some point. Let's just do it. I clipped out of bound before the first checkpoint in the scrolling rooms, and wow, look, the shaft loaded like it did in the last level. Slam storage into a dive and aim for those doors in the really far off down low distance and go in. That is the L-shaped hallway that leads to the space section. Complete the level as normal for another 0 arm uses. Woo! I'm still really proud of doing that final arena. Well, it is time for the last level. We already know that we can skip the skulls as the challenge for the level directs us to do so, so that isn't the issue. What stands between a no arm use then? Well... this is not good. In freefall, we cannot slam at all. No slamming means we have absolutely no way of damaging enemies in any way. Can't beat virtues, can't beat providences, and definitely cannot beat the boss. So is this going to be like the original consensus for 7-4, where there were dozens of arm uses? Well, no, I can't give up here. Cracking open the cheat menu and giving myself flight invincibility, anything and everything. I started testing every little thing I could do with the whole fight, and I learned so much about the enemies in the level and the level itself. The key point is that the walls of this place do damage. So if we had a way to get the angelic enemies into the wall, we could maybe have a chance at this. It was after a bit more work that I found the solution, and quite possibly the dumbest thing I have ever done in this game, perhaps even on this channel. You can physically push virtues. It is so slow that you might not even notice it, but in the footage you can clearly see that the one I am nudging is slowly getting closer to the wall. Granted, you have to dodge 3 of them attacking you at once, but yeah. There's 1 down. The other 2 get a little angry about that though, but who cares? They're close to the wall just from following me already. Nudge the 2nd and the 3rd into the wall, and that is done. Maybe. The providences come in, and here's the stressful part. If I am defeated here, I have to do the virtues again. Thankfully, the erratic movement of these enemies makes them prone to just go into the wall for me. 2 more down, up comes... How do I pronounce this?
Rien.
Really?
Yarian.
The genus of crabs. Okay, I don't actually know how to pronounce this boss, but it's the boss of the fraud lair. And thank Hakita for this. When the boss overheats from attacking, they automatically take some damage. We just have to survive until then, and yeah, I'll just let you see that. with that, we complete 8-4 Final Flight with nothing equipped, and with that, complete all of Fraud with nothing equipped. This keeps our total arm use count for the game at 14 total, and puts us at a stopping point for the video. Until the next update, I have nothing else to really say. Thank you all for watching, and if you know of a way to reduce the arm count even further than the one shown on screen, do let me know in the comments below. Also, make sure to like, subscribe, bell, hate it if you want. I don't know what that does. I have been Generic Mystic, and until we meet again on the interwebs.